Hello, everybody. Welcome to Fanboy Talk. I am Trollboy17 coming at you live, and I'm joined today by a whole lot of fucking people. How's it going, everybody? I'm joined today by Mithi, as always, my co-host, and also my good friends Doug from For Every Kind of Geek and Brian McDermott. How's everybody doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
Oh god, I'm just so excited to talk about our topic today.
I know. That was the most professional I'm going to be all episode.
I was going to say, that's great. That was a great intro. And
thank you.
I'm so excited to talk about so many things on this podcast. I saw the itinerary and I was like, that makes sense. Although I think you could have probably,
we have two things.
What do you call it? But I think we should have dedicated more time to the big segment on this episode that I don't want to spoil until we get to that.
For those who don't know, because this is an inside joke and not everybody saw this bit, I said we're spending 6 hours on Madam Web today. But before we get into Madam Web, and we want to do an intro, or just want to talk, because so much shit happened.
What do you guys got?
So much stupid shit happened, and everybody's like, make shit about the stupid shit. And I'm so tired all the time.
That's YouTube in a nutshell.
Yeah. But hey, guys, what is everybody put up to? I should have put, there's no name tags, so Brian's above me, and Doug's to the top left if anybody doesn't know.
Everyone. This is me, I'm Brian. Brian, that's Troy. This is Doug. That's Brian again.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. There you go.
Is it even right? Who knows?
No, it doesn't matter.
What
were we doing?
What are you all up to? Let's give about like 5 or 10 minutes before we get into the web course.
What have you guys been doing, Doug and Brian, non-podcasters? Like, what do you guys do on a daily basis?
I do what I always do. I grind out videos, and I look good doing it.
You do.
Damn right you do.
Wow,
God damn right.
Deck. Okay. I have just been working like a fiend and looking okay doing it. I'm hanging in there.
Fuck you.
How
Hey, that's my friend you're
you.
talking about. That's my friend you're talking about. I'll kick your ass.
Please.
You're gonna say that once.
I did the same bit last time. I did it also, yeah.
Hey, listeners, viewers, you can see us. We're on the same broadcast. Do a comparison and tell Brian just how he ranks on his own scale.
Yeah.
You can make a poll on Spotify. I'm gonna make a who's the most attractive member of this group. That's gonna go.
Is that gonna be an episode of the podcast? Is just us
ranking my friends by how hot they are.
Yeah.
Hey man, that's like every white background, infinite white background video.
I'm pretty sure that's how Facebook got started. So we're off to a great start here.
Anyway, I don't even know what have you been up to?
The Super Bowl happened. What do you guys do?
It did. It was rigged.
No,
it was rigged by the Democrats and Joe Biden.
We covered that last week on our weekly
Joe
podcast.
Biden rigging the Super Bowl.
I just enjoyed his tweet afterwards. That was my take.
The timing of the tweet wasn't great.
Yeah,
But
no, it was not.
I will say there was one shot of Travis Kelce walking after because you know the conspiracy was that he was going to propose and all that shit, which I thought was the funniest conspiracy ever. There was literally a shot where they were following him like his back directly. I was like, oh my god, they're going to do it.
Really?
I was for a second, I was full on MAGA for 5 seconds.
For 1 second, I was full on MAGA. That is now publicly broadcast. Troy, congratulations. No,
That's
my
fine.
favorite part.
We get 20 viewers a week. Who gives a shit?
My favorite.
I can say whatever I want with no consequences.
If Troy wants to support MAGA, he can.
For legal reasons. No.
No.
I don't fuck with that.
For legal and moral reasons.
Yeah. No. Your Honor, it was a bit. This is a comedy podcast. I have not killed anybody.
There was one bit. I didn't really want to talk too much about Deadpool 3 stuff because it's a trailer and just go watch the trailer, I guess. Everyone kept talking about the one shot and talking about the cinematography.
The gun thing?
Tweet that everyone said was the cinematography in this shot was insane. And now we are on a panel of like a lot of experience. This is a panel. This is a CNN panel. With an extremely successful editor, an extremely successful storyteller, a great filmmaker, someone who fucking runs around with a camera. Was that shot cinematography? No. Right? What
was that shot cinematography? Was that the phrasing?
I mean, if you want to get technical, it was, but I don't think it's like
they're talking about the speed, right? Is that all they're talking about?
Yeah, I don't think it's the be all end all.
I think they're talking about the fact he did a cool gun thing and they thought it was cool.
Okay.
I mean,
it's a blockbuster thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the same thing that he did in Deadpool 1. I mean, like that with the scene on the bridge. I think, if anything, the shot looks a little flat, but I mean, it's a Marvel thing. Of course it looks flat.
I was surprised when the trailer started because in that scene with them in the characters that I actually like from the Deadpool movies, I was like, oh, because I like the Deadpool movies. I was like, oh, this looks good still. It still looks like the old movies. That's actually impressive. And then they cut to other things. I was, never mind, we lost it.
You can put a stopwatch on. The minute he opens the door, my excitement for that trailer just plummeted.
Yeah.
It's just the moment the TVA showed up, a lot of people were just like, okay.
It was fucked up. Domino's not there. That's such a...
It's true.
Also, because I love her. I love Zazie Beetz' Domino.
I mean, didn't she say that she wanted to be in it? Like, I saw like an article that was like, Zazie Beetz wanted to be in Deadpool 3. And like the same thing about Josh Brolin.
Maybe she's getting busy for Joker 2.
And my other guess is
she wasn't real. She was a figment of his imagination. What? He's gonna picture another one?
I mean, maybe.
Could happen.
Joker 2, Folia dude. I have 2 imaginary girlfriends now.
That would actually be...
Isn't that what the name means or something?
Yeah. They just end up together.
It's French for that.
I have 2 girlfriends now, question mark? That's French. In French, it's fully in 2.
I really wanted to have 2 girlfriends.
That's what the Folia dude means.
That's the arc. That's the arc of the Joker movies. They're just turning into an I think you should leave sketch.
I am fully on your side. I think Tim Robinson would make a really good Joker, and nobody's giving him a chance.
WB, DC, what are you doing?
WB, go fuck yourself.
That's considering recent events. Yeah.
What else happened?
Deadpool, what else happened?
Does anybody else have Deadpool thoughts?
I think it looks entirely meh.
Yeah,
like it looks fine. Like I don't know. Like
I think it's just so. I guess because I'm not going to talk about it ever again. I hate when I am a self-proclaimed Deadpool fan. As of like I like the character quite a bit. I hate when Deadpool is. What'd you say?
It's a rough life.
Yeah. I hate when the characters like stories are like meta. I hate like I think the character himself should be meta, but then the plots when they should sort of stay relatively grounded and stuff. That's like what the best Deadpool comics have been. And then this one's gonna be like, look, it's the MCU. Hey, look, it's the whole plot is the MCU. I don't know. I
don't like that he called himself Marvel Jesus or like I see what you're doing here, the cinematic universe. I was like, okay, I guess.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mithi.
No, the subject of this episode is just me bullying, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, because you deserve it, because we saw what you said about Madam Web, and we'll kick your ass for it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you fucking jerk.
But
your opinions are different than ours, and we will not tolerate that.
It's wrong. Objectively wrong.
But yeah, I thought it looked fun. It's a downgrade from Deadpool 2. I was watching clips from Deadpool 2 earlier, and I think that movie deserves more credit than people give it. I like.
Are you calling Deadpool 2 an
underrated masterpiece?
Oh my god! I knew we were gonna get it.
I will go so far to say I do think Deadpool 2 is pretty underrated compared of the two of them. People didn't like it when it came out, but I love Deadpool 2.
I watched clips of Deadpool 1 compared to Deadpool 2.
I remember the reviews were like it's just worse. I don't fucking know.
That's just because honestly, every movie nowadays is polarizing. I don't think that makes it underrated. I think the first 2 Deadpool movies for me have been pretty solid, not all that ambitious superhero movies. And I think like within that vein, they did very well. But like what worries me now is they got a whiff of like whatever the Marvel studio has going on, and they're just cashing in on that instead of actually making a story this time. At least that's what this trailer does. Feels like it's more of a remix and a cross promotion than an actual movie.
You're forgetting one very important thing though. He's in the suit.
I think the thing that worries me is that like the restrictions that the first two movies had, I think were big strengths for them.
Yeah.
Like they had like small cameos, but like they had like fun characters, and now like this I feel like has bigger potential to be what people thought Multiverse of Madness was going to be.
Yeah.
And that makes me a little nervous because like like it could be funny, but like how much can you really do before that joke gets like worn out?
Yeah.
And like, you know, obviously like there's like we don't know what this is building to. There's a lot of rumors about like how this is going to play into future movies and whatever. But I genuinely don't think of Deadpool as like a character that is like fundamentally at the center of like massive universe events. And maybe that's wrong and but I just like I think he works better like off his own corner, and when you give him like little scraps like that he can really play with.
I completely agree. I mean, it's funny because bringing this back to what you were saying earlier, Troy, I know you and I have talked about this a lot because we're both Deadpool fans. You kind of hopped on board around the mid 2000s Way run, and so did I.
Yeah,
and I
the
think
Way run and I went back and read the Kelly run. The Kelly run was the one I really liked.
Yeah, but I feel like both of those kind of like demonstrate what I think Brian is saying, because like Deadpool isn't a huge name in Marvel, but he's always got like his own weird corners that we explore. Like there are episodes where he fights vampires in like Transylvania, and like there's a whole story where he's just like messing around in the background while like Norman Osborn is in control of the government, and it's just like really fun, almost like B-movie stuff. And I think that tone and that approach is so distinct, and to just make it another Marvel Studios movie feels like it's almost like robbing what makes this character interesting from these movies.
Yeah.
It's interesting because even like looking at the creative team behind it, I know people give Sean Levy and Ryan Reynolds a lot of shit for Free Guy, and I don't like a lot of Free Guy. I really like The Adam Project. It's a movie that like barely anyone watched. It was that Netflix movie with the Percy Jackson kid, but there were some scenes in that movie that had like a lot of heart to it. And you remember the Night of the Museum movies? I grew up with those movies. Those are amazing movies in my eyes, that except the third one. Like if you asked me like, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, get the guy from the Night of the Museum movies to do Deadpool movie, I would have been like, yeah, that fits really well. That's awesome. And I think because of stuff like Free Guy, because of how this movie is being promoted, there's also this thing of like, because before these Fantastic Four announcements and this X-Men trailer and all this stuff, there was that big discussion about Deadpool needs to be the thing to save the MCU. And I want to believe that Sean Levy and Ryan Reynolds didn't go into this thinking we're going to make a movie that's going to save the MCU. But I'm afraid now, because of like the way this movie is going to be promoted and the way this movie is probably going to be studio interfered, it's going to go that line. And I wanted this movie to be the Adam Project R-rated. I feel like it's going to be more Free Guy, but a Free Guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's a shame, because I feel like I don't know Sean Levy as a guy, but I liked a lot of his movies. I don't want him to undergo the Peyton Reed, the John Watts treatment, but I feel like that's kind of slowly what's going to happen to this movie. I guess we'll see though. We got a few months.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know I know there were some behind the scenes stuff. I mean, we think this was a movie that was made kind of during a lot of issues with like, there was firstly the Fox to Disney jump, which there's going to be a lot of handing over and a lot of issues there, and then also the writer's strike. They were filming the movie during the strike for that first couple months, and so it's like, I don't know how much they're going to end up refilming from that, but I don't know. There's a lot of signs where I'm like, this is a very difficult production and I don't necessarily know if Shaw Levy's the guy to handle that production. And I don't know.
Isn't it coming out this year though? Like,
yeah,
like it's coming out kind of soon.
It got upped. It was supposed to be a September release. Now it's a June release.
Oh, that's even weirder.
Yeah.
Imagine having a wait. We had a big industry wide strike that basically shut down the whole industry for a year, and we're moving movies up.
I feel like it only started shooting in like May of last year.
It was right when the writer's strike started. Yeah,
I remember seeing the announcement that they were filming just a few weeks ago.
Like,
that's not enough for post. That's definitely not enough for post. Right?
Well, listen. Anything in the Marvel machine is enough for post.
Post Malone talking in the third person.
That's not enough for post, dude.
No, that's not enough for post. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see with that movie and stuff. We also had the Fantastic Four cast got announced after having been rumored and leaked for fucking forever. To the point where it wasn't a surprise.
I think they should have just released the movie. Like, no trailers.
Just on
Twitter. They've actually been filming in secret.
Were like silhouetted characters.
I mean, the cast seems. I like the cast. I think I'm one of the only people that likes Pedro Pascal as Reed. I know Doug and I were talking about it earlier today. I'm interested in it because people think it's a safe choice. I don't think it is. I think like he's famous, but he's not.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's not a John Krasinski, right?
Yeah.
And that's what's exciting to me about it. There's something more to it, and I like the bear guy as Thing. I like Vanessa Kirby, Stranger Things guy. People hate him now for some reason, but like I thought he was fine in Stranger Things, so I don't know.
So now that
I just like the aesthetic, and also it's in the '60s, and I was right about that, baby. Fuck.
Are they? Did they confirm that? I wasn't sure.
The magazine he was reading is a Time magazine from the '60s. Yeah.
Okay, that's
now, granted,
from '63, I think.
We're still in a bit of a gray area.
Time magazines still exist after they come out. I could pick up a book right now from 1963.
I feel like we are in a bit of a gray area with this because it was made by one of their concept artists. Yeah. So I feel like it's still kind of early to figure out whether like this is dead set, like the tone, the time that they're going for, or if this is just sort of like feeling out what we want to do. Like they could easily say, oh, well, we'll just make it modern, but we want 60s sensibilities here.
That's fair.
So like I don't want to commit and say like, oh yeah, this is exactly how it's going to be, because things could still change. But I love the vibes that it's giving off.
I think if anything, like piggybacking off that, like this could have been a feeler in a sense, like because like I think that they are rewriting the script right now, and it's long been rumored that like the '60s were going to be a part of it in some way, shape, or form, and I think if they're really smart, they should look at the reaction that the large majority of people had to this, which was like overwhelmingly positive from what I've seen. And I really took to it, like, because it's exactly, the thing that I wanted from it, like, which is to sort of be like an intimate, sort of like very fun, friendly space age, like that sort of era. Like you want this sort of familial aspect to it, and it like, especially after the last few like iterations, like it feels like they actually like each other. Because even in like 2005 and 2008, like what is it, Tim Reed or Tim Story?
Tim Story,
the Tim Story, fantastic. Like they felt like a family, but they didn't really feel like they liked each other. And like
because like a huge inspiration for that was the Ultimate comics, where they famously end up hating each other at the end.
Yeah, we don't like talking about where the Ultimate comics go after the zombies. Then they're definitely a happy family until the zombies. And
Reed's having a great time.
He's great, and he's not doing anything now.
What's he up to right now?
I don't know what he's doing right now, but he's doing.
What's Miles Teller up to?
I was about to say, some people would say it'd be fun for him to play a version of the Baker. Like I think it would be cool. That's a fun pick.
Like down the line, like
get the paycheck,
not for this movie, but yeah, could be fun.
Then Tom Cruise comes and saves him, and they both
day
just
one.
dogfight planes.
Tom Cruise, Iron Man.
Oh my god.
Tom Cruise, Iron Man comes in and saves Miles Teller.
And then Mephisto is actually revealed to be the real villain.
played by Glenn Powell. This is just a Top Gun movie.
Oh, actually, though, Glenn Powell as Mephisto
Would actually be pretty good.
it's kind of awesome.
He's got the smile for it. He's got the wry smile.
Wait, I want to interject. Like when in the Madam Web, when we went to go see Madam Web, Doug and I saw.
We haven't gotten to that yet.
No, I know. I'm skipping ahead a little bit. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. The Twisters.
Oh yeah,
trailer
I saw the
played. And we looked at each other and we were like, what is he doing with his career? Like, just like, what? Like, he could be he could have such a good career if Glenn Powell gave a shit. Like, he just keeps on getting put in these bad, like, Top Gun was great, but like,
and I respect him for it. You know, I respect him for his shitty decisions, kind of.
Listen, I respect his ability to get that bag.
I don't think anything's gonna be
shred that cheddar.
At the same simultaneously. I don't think anything will be a step up or a step down from Scream Queens. From Chad Radwell in Scream Queens is the best role he'll ever play, but also it's the worst role on the planet. So like, whatever he does, I'll support him.
Sounds like a certain movie, the best and the worst.
Oh, we're not there yet.
Everything in between.
X-Men had a trailer. Did you guys see the X-Men trailer? X-Men 97.
Cool. I thought that was cool. You didn't like it, Brian?
That was fine. I didn't really have a connection.
You gave your little Brian face.
I didn't have a connection to the show in the same way that I had a connection to like Spider-Man or Iron Man. I don't know. It just never.
Yeah. Weirdly, I'm a huge fan of X-Men, but like, I've never been all that into the animated series. I feel like people. I mean, it is like a kind of nostalgia bait at this point. Not to say that the episodes aren't good, but like, I don't know. I love Evolution a lot more, but even still, I like this trailer got me invested because it felt like they weren't just rehashing. It was like a huge, bold new direction.
Yeah.
And that was enough to like raise my eyebrow. So now I think I might check this out.
Are the same creatives from like the 90s on board again? Is it completely different people?
I think like some of the
new people.
Yeah.
It's that married couple, right? Like they're the ones that were like the showrunners.
Chris Nolan and Emma Thompson.
The two people that are married.
The only two people that are married. No one else has ever gotten married.
Yeah, they're the only ones.
Well, I know like one of the guys from the old show who was a director for maybe a couple episodes is like attached. So, you know, they do have some crossover there, but I do think it's mostly an update.
Yeah. I wonder what's going on with that Spider-Man show. I feel like that's the show you'd release first, but is it happening? Is it not?
Oh yeah. Well, freshman year got a big overhaul and it's being totally redone. I know because I'm a Spider-Man YouTuber. They're basically like starting from scratch on it, from what I've heard. Like the animation style is now they're doing more, which like now after seeing this trailer, I'm actually a little bit more interested in because freshman year was going to be 2D initially with that style that we saw. Now they're going more 3D, and that worried me. But this is 3D, and this looks really good. Like I'm actually surprised at how good this looks for being 3D.
Yeah, I thought that this was going to look more What If.
Yeah, same.
But I will say, like, not being a huge fan of the original show, I think, but I thought that this was going to look like total trash. It does look good. Like, it's just not, like, I'll see it, like, when it comes out, I'll watch it, and I'll see how it goes. But, like, I did think that it captured the spirit of the original show in a really positive way.
Yeah.
I do like Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, like, this is me putting my tinfoil hat on, because this is bringing it back to something I love. I feel like a huge influence in like that art direction is because of the rise of popularity and stuff like Worthy Kids and what he's been able to do. Because like he got famous for making these animations that look incredible. Like for the longest time I thought they were 2D. Turns out like he rendered them all out in Blender. He just went all in on art direction and like trying to emulate the 2D look with 3D tools. And I think the more techniques like that are explored and emulated, the more we're going to see, you know, creative, interesting looking stuff like this. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Homecoming has a similar approach where they use 3D tools just because it's slightly easier or like more forgiving, but they kind of rework it to emulate, more what they were going for in the concept art.
Yeah, we'll see. It's just horror because we haven't seen anything from it now.
Yeah.
Like literally,
like character designs that were like very Kirby-esque like face designs, but I guess they're not going with that anymore. Or is that
which feels like a total letdown?
Yeah,
I did like those designs.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of Spider-Man, we got the most supported Spider-Man piece of media that's ever released.
Oh boy.
But before we get started with that, do we have anything else we want to talk about? Because this is going to derail the whole conversation.
I did realize that.
Madam Web came out, and it's the best movie ever made.
This is going to be my face this entire bit. I'm just going to be lean like this the whole time.
I don't even know how to start this conversation.
Mithi's
I really
slowly
don't.
Gonna slink out of frame.
Someone else take over for me. I can't do it. I don't know.
What can I say?
Is this the movie of... That's it.
You didn't even watch the movie. Stop it.
Yeah, you're a liar.
Okay.
We only him into watching
say
it, everyone. He didn't even want to see it.
I feel like I can share my experiences. So
Yeah.
Weirdly, I started in the same camp as Mithi, where I thought like, oh, this is just another Sony Spider-Man movie. And I'm like, I got some enjoyment out of Venom, but like what's the point? And just out of the blue, I guess, this is going to change depending on whenever you're watching this. But a couple of days, I think, was it yesterday or 2 days before this recording, I got a call from Brian out of the blue to just like, hey, we're going to watch Madam Web in theaters. Do you want to join us? And honestly, I do think that like the theatrical experience is why I enjoyed this so much, because it is like a communal thing. I think it's so much different just watching it at home, because like there's this weird, it's like when you're isolated, I think you put more of an emphasis on your time. It's like, well, I have so much to do. I have so much work that I could be working on. Why am I watching this? But like when you're at the theater, you're immersed in like the collective, energy of all the people around you. And let me tell you, I think everybody was on the same wavelength that we were. There were like moments when people cheered, people laughed. Like I hooped and hollered my way through this. And because of that, I think I'm going to buy it on Blu-ray.
That's the thing. That's the thing with this movie. I made a TikTok about this, where like I saw the movie, not opening night, day after opening night with Olivia, kind of as a bit where we were like, this movie's so bad, let's go see it. But we were very much expecting a Morbius bad. We were expecting it to just be boring, like because there are different levels of bad movie. There is a corporate, cynical, boring ass like thing that just kind of is shat out for content, and you watch it and you fall asleep, and there's no like zero value to it.
Transcendence. The 2014 movie Transcendence.
Sure.
I thought you said
I've never heard of it.
I was like, that's a take.
hey, don't go after Descendants like that.
Yeah.
But but then and we get a lot of those. We get a lot of those types of bad movies. And then every movie for the past like 10 years, kind of every movie that has been like the worst movie has been like that. Like even like Fantastic and Morbius and shit like that haven't been that. But then once in a blue moon, when stars align, we get a movie that is so bad that it comes back around to being good again, and it is genuinely a good experience it is genuinely a fun experience to watch the movie. It's not intentionally funny. Mm-hmm. It's not even necessarily good, but but the viewing experience is unlike no other.
Yeah, I feel like I need to clarify this. The movie itself is
you were
not
going off, and I was like, we haven't established this yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The movie itself, not good. The dialogue, not good. The characters, not good. But
the screenwriting.
Did you say the title wasn't good?
The title card was kind of weak.
Yeah, it literally just black screen white. But anyway.
Yeah, I would have liked Madam Web if it just wasn't called that, man. But like this movie to me is very much like a it's a Catwoman experience. It's a The Room experience, and we haven't had that in forever. And everybody's trying to review this like it's a regular movie. Yeah, go for it.
I think that if Sony is smart, which they're not, so you know, I mean, this is gonna fall on deaf ears, but they would be so smart to go the route of The Room, and like I don't think this will happen for like 10 to 15 years, like if it ever did happen. But like if this was on like a monthly like late night Saturday viewing, and like you could go and see this movie like and with people, and people went to go see this movie, this could be something, because it is that, like, it's piggybacking off of what Doug is saying, like it's the communal experience of going and watching it. I mean, even there wasn't like a ton of people in our theater. I think there was more people in our theater, maybe slightly more, than I think I've heard of other people being in other people's theaters. But like it was fucking hysterical. There was like not like I was crying laughing within 5 minutes, and like it was like the people behind us were laughing just as loud, like, and then soon everyone was laughing. It was like I don't think I've laughed harder in a movie. Like no comedy has ever made me laugh as hard as this movie.
There's one
it plays
bit
it straight, and it's perfect. It's perfectly awful. It's great.
And if it was, I feel like if it was trying to be funny, it wouldn't come near that. It
needs to be played straight. It needs to just be like I don't like. It's like lightning in a bottle. I don't know how you capture this. It's like a spider in the middle of a forest in Peru.
There's like one moment in particular that I feel like
they took my spiders.
Just give me the spider.
I don't know if we're gonna talk about this out of order or if we want to go through like beat.
We can just go through it. Fuck it. I don't want to keep you guys too much. But like,
can I wait?
No
wait
one's gonna watch the movie.
Can I first say something?
You should go see it in the theater. It's so good.
Absolutely should.
Okay.
Can I see a matinee?
Can I say something just so that people don't think we're fucking lunatics? I don't agree. But good job. Good. I'm very happy for you guys. I want to make it clear that I'm really happy for all three of you, because you guys seem to have had this like profound experience in a theater watching this movie on the big screen with an amazing community around you. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't.
Maybe
there might be a reason because of that.
But okay. That aside, I do know what people. But I still think, this is my weird opinion, I still think Venom is a better example of that than this movie.
I
don't think so.
That's my weird take. I thought because
I was not laughing at Venom. I was never like Venom. Venom's so bad. It's so funny.
I was laughing with Venom.
Venom when it was funny, it was trying to be funny. When this movie is trying to be serious, it's the funniest thing in the world.
Yeah. So
maybe I wonder if Morbius is a better example then. Because Morbius,
Morbius is what I was talking about. Morbius is those bad movies that are just imagine the movie. This movie is like the ending credits of Morbius for the whole movie. Like where the ending credits of Morbius are so stupid. It's so bad, and really like how we always quote, "Oh, I don't know what's going on, but I think it has to do with Spider-Man." Like that energy for the whole movie for 2 hours straight.
The thing
is why I love it.
Yeah, I feel like I need to.
Because I was gonna say this one thing. I
really do like how we started this with some really long, elaborate. This is about community, and it's such a special experience.
In a place like this.
This is our Madam Web review.
It's good in a place like this.
All right, I feel like I gotta hop in. I gotta tell you a specific example, Mithi. I was putting this in my back pocket, but I have to talk about it because, I mean, I feel like it's so easy to get caught up in just a movie's presentation and its craft, because especially like we're people who immerse ourselves in that. Like we edit, we create, and because of that, I feel like we put a lot of value in how something is made. But perfect example of this, there's a very serious scene towards like the first act endpoint Where,
Wait, are we talking about what I think we're talking about?
Yeah, so
Are we just
We're okay, real
Please,
quick.
please,
We're
please.
going into spoilers.
Oh, yeah,
No
yeah,
give
hear
a
me
shit.
out on this. Yeah.
Go
Spoiler.
see
Where
Madam
we're
Web.
going.
Honestly,
I don't think it's
maybe
going to impact.
our
your
discussion of this will make you
experience.
want to go see it more. I think
It's-
that's what I've been told by everybody.
I don't even think it impacts the movie, which makes it even funnier. There's a minor character who serves with Cassie as one of the EMTs, and she has a vision that he is in a car crash, and she instinctively goes over and is like, "Hey, let me drive. I feel like there's something bad is gonna happen." And he's like, "Nah, don't worry about it." And he gets in, and the way this shot is framed,
it's out of focus, right?
no, it's like it's sort of a half tilt shift sort of thing where it's definitely like Dakota Johnson is framed. She is like big in the frame, but there's a huge amount of empty space behind her that makes you think, okay, well we're meant
Brian
to
has a webcam frame.
Yeah,
Honestly.
it's like this is the shot.
exactly like we're meant to follow this ambulance, and it drives out of frame, kind of goes into the soft focus, and you just see a semi truck come out of the background and smash into this. And the minute that happened, I leaned over to Brian because like it was dead quiet, and I just whispered in his ear, "Looney Tunes ass death sequence," and then we both cackled out loud in this theater, and like nobody else laughed at this, but I think that made it that much funnier.
I think they're like
for
in the beginning.
me, the moment where I realized this, right, was the second that the villain started talking, and we learned immediately none of the words coming out of his mouth are what he said on set.
Yeah.
Like there were moments where his mouth was closed, fully shut, and then there was exposition.
He's actively saying something else, like
Yeah.
as he's talking to the lady on the phone or whatever, and it's not the same. And it's his mouth is moving in completely different direction.
He is in
Primo
a 70s
dialogue,
Godzilla movie. You said it earlier. It's perfect.
Primo dialogue too.
I there's something about this, like specifically in the beginning with the mom's character and like sort of Dakota Johnson's like sort of
The Dakota
arc
Johnson
with
look
like
How
how
she hates her moms so
like,
much.
Dakota Johnson hates her mom. She's like, "How could you die? Like, how could you leave me?" And it's like she died, dude. Like, fucking relax. And
It's also really funny
in all
because
fairness, it's that she's mad that she was in the jungle while she was like 9 months pregnant, which is
And it
like, yeah, it's
sets it up.
stupid, but
Yeah,
it's such a funny conflict to have.
it sets it up in that first scene where she's mad that she's pregnant.
yeah, no, like the whole thing, the whole movie is like yeah, like I guess this mom doesn't really like this baby.
Yeah.
And then at the end they like ham fist in like through a vision when she goes back to Peru and she gets like Doctor Strange punched into like the fucking the water. And I'm like and we get my favorite line of the movie. And she's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, but like how do they know this?" But like in 1976 no less, they're like, "But your daughter has a neuromuscular disorder." And Dakota Johnson immediately, like not even like a beat happens, she's like, "But I don't have a neuromuscular disorder."
She says
And,
it
like
exactly
it's like
that,
said
too.
so flatly. Like I gave it more emotion than that.
I think right after it is equally funny where the mom's like we're gonna find the spider, it has healing properties, and immediately Dakota Johnson's like, you were right, the spider did have healing properties.
You did it. That spider really did have healing properties.
It's because they never shot any scenes with Dakota Johnson where she wasn't talking, so they couldn't even cut it out. They were forced to put it in. It was
like
I will say, I think everybody's like Dakota Johnson, bad actor. I think she
knows.
did
She
this was
knows.
the
She was-
best.
she was good.
She was the best performance for this movie.
She
Like
knows.
if it wasn't her, this movie would have been dog shit. Like not
She
even
just
fun to
feels
watch.
so done in every
She's
scene
like
she's in.
it's the energy that everybody thinks is so funny from all of her press. Everyone's like, oh my god, she's so funny and so weird. She's like that in the movie.
Well,
Like
I mean,
that is a
she
strength
plays
of the
herself.
movie. Yeah.
To bring it back to the definitive example of this, Brian, I feel like you might appreciate this. It's the Pattinson effect in Twilight, where anytime he's not like hamming it up in a scene, he's doing press where he goes, "Yeah, I hated that."
It's like in the scenes in Twilight. There's a scene in Breaking Dawn 1, I think, when we find out when Jacob's like, I have a crush on your daughter, on your baby.
No, I think that's 2.
Is that 2? I can't remember which one.
Yeah.
But then fucking Kristen Stewart's having this big argument, and it keeps cutting to Robert Pattinson just laughing, just like thinking it's the funniest thing in the world. And I'm like, he did not realize he was on camera for this. And that's how it feels watching this movie with Dakota Johnson. She's making fun of these things as they're happening and making fun of the characters. And like a cat shows up in her apartment, and she's like, "Hi, cat."
Hi, cat.
Better yet, they're like the girls are just asking her a bunch of questions, and you could tell, like, you could hear the annoyance in her voice where she just goes, "I do not know."
Like, and it feels
she
really
says it in that
believable.
exact tone of voice, and that makes it so much funny.
Because I think that was their chemistry on set too. I heard that the girls were all buddies and were not friends with Dakota Johnson. And Dakota Johnson felt left
Dakota
out.
Johnson didn't really try to be their friend.
No, because that's
the thing I relate to the most about Dakota Johnson.
Every single
oh man,
time he's
Like, man, why aren't my friends talking to me? Anyway, I haven't messaged them in 6 months.
Every time she's driving around those kids, it's like they just kept the camera rolling on her, and they didn't tell her when they would cut the cameras, but they didn't give her any lines. They just gave her the one line, and so she says her line, and then she's just like,
This movie didn't have a script. This movie is actually very. It's a very beautiful experiment in improvisational superhero media, and nobody's giving it credit for that. Because also, I think Sydney Sweeney didn't get a script either, because she was always
What
like, "You
was she doing?
guys, we gotta do this, you guys. Come on, you guys."
I don't think you're gonna like it, you guys. Cassie, I love you for some reason.
Meanwhile, Anya doesn't have any fucking lines. Anya is like in the background.
Wait, can I say something though?
That's not true. She gets to talk about statistics at one point.
Yeah, that's true. Like, she's like the math one.
She's the
I
math
didn't get
one.
that. That didn't click with me. Is it? I guess it's on her shirt. It says she's like,
I eat math for breakfast.
Yeah, that didn't click with me. I didn't get it.
I realized what they were doing. I think this is what they were doing, because this movie showcases the birth of Peter Parker, which I think is the funniest thing ever.
Or
Emma
is it?
Roberts jump scare.
Or is it? We don't know. We'll never know. It's actually his brother.
If only that fucking balloon didn't pop, we'd know the name.
But I think what they were going for, maybe this wasn't intentional, but we have the funny one, the nice one, and the nerdy one. I think they were trying to say that all of their personalities got imprinted onto Peter Parker, and that's why he acts that way.
So my theory is, in the future, the same spider that bites all of them takes their personalities in and then bites
but
Peter.
how far in the future was his dream?
Sucking their blood.
Because Ezekiel has
they
a
say in the
dream.
movie, they're like it could be 10 years. And then,
But they look the same.
And they have the perfect NSA like renderings of the costumes. And then they're like, all right,
He drew from memory from his dreams.
Yeah, literally. Like, I didn't know they had AI back in
The NSA is just
2003.
No. The NSA just has a bunch of photos of cosplayers on file for some reason.
The
It's
NSA is filled
totally
with a bunch
bizarre
of
that the
Sydney Sweeney
NSA
fans.
wasn't a villain in this movie.
Oh,
crazy.
just a passing mention.
It was
Of, hey,
it
there's
was
this.
theme. It was just like Ezekiel was like, find them. What do I pay you for? I pay you a fortune. Like,
The NSA is just a new AI
For the people
update.
who took my spider.
Everything it gives them is just weird drone shots of these three spider girls walking around.
No, but like literally, it's like even Ezekiel's like, yeah, this is a pretty bad breach of privacy. Anyway, let's go kill these kids.
What would you do if you had the same nightmare every night? The same 3 faces.
Did they ever give us a reason why he is evil? Like, what was he doing? I thought he was working
he had a
for
dream.
someone.
Because he's evil Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's a Spider-Man.
The suit and everything for no reason.
And sometimes
Hey, that's not true. The Peruvian spider people looked like that too. We based it off of them.
No,
That's
the
true.
Peruvian spider people look like a bunch of weird little goo people.
They look like they were wearing weird.
When they popped up in our theater, like, so people were laughing before, like, you know, there was like some laughing, and then like the trees started rustling, and like it got really quiet. And I think every single person in the theater was like, wait, what the fuck is, like, what could this be? And then, like, they descend.
A bright red person.
Everyone just erupted. We were like, what? Like, people were, like, exclaiming. Like, it was like...
It felt like that. It felt like the opening scene of Cats, where you first see how they look. Like when I was in the theater watching that movie with Olivia, because we saw it in theater, I felt like the rest of the crowd around me go like, "What the fuck?
Is that Idris Elba?"
But like there's a half-second shot of one of them, literally a half second, that just is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He has the eyes and everything. It looks exactly like Tobey Maguire, but like they just it's like so bad. Weird. Yeah.
Could you imagine
if
they
were all
Tobey
the Spider-Man
Maguire
actors?
This is how they bring him back. They did it to No Way Home.
It's the return of Bruce Wayne thing where they send him back in time.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We'll get 3 famously white actors playing Peru.
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
Listen, would you put it?
I wouldn't put it past
It's a time
studio
loop.
movies.
It's a Superman
Web.
Red Son time loop situation where Tobey Maguire's grandson becomes the spiders in Peru.
Oh,
Tobey Maguire becomes his own
because far in the future, actually, Peru is renamed to Spider, and that's how he got the name.
Oh, that's why the S&P are important later in the movie.
I literally thought that when they first showed that scene, I thought they were gonna turn Pepsi into Spider-Man somehow.
Troy, I hate to break it to you, but you're missing some letters.
Listen, no, hang on.
The other letters would break apart to spell.
Yeah.
To spell
The second P could turn into an R with another like little line. We could at least get Spider out of it, I think.
Okay, you could get
Spider. It would be funny if they couldn't fully spell Spider-Man, and they're like, "What is it trying to say? Spider?
Spider?
People?
Oh, you see, it's because he was a
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
I will say, when they started foreshadowing the S again in the third act, I lost my shit. I was like, no way. I thought that was just a joke that they just kept in there for like a random effect. And then it was like, no, it's the S. I'm going to keep looking at the S. And she crawls back. And as she's crawling back, she's just looking at the S the entire time. I'm like,
Yeah, how did he not like put it together that she's like she can probably see the future, and he's not like clocking the fact that she's constantly looking at something and being like, "Come on, like he's
but that
so
shot
stupid.
goes on for
Forgetting.
too long too. He doesn't say anything because they ran out of
the most
ADR.
important.
Yeah,
It's
his
all
spiders
about the
are the most
spiders. My
took-
spiders.
My spider. And every time he'd walk into a shot and be like,
Ooh.
I love how much the movie's marketing hyped up these 3 girls in their spider costumes and put them in every trailer, and they are in those costumes for it's not even about the suits, but they are they are Spider Women for 5
You can't
seconds.
even see the suits half the time. It's just like
Sydney Sweeney went through hell to hang upside down.
Yep.
She fought tooth and nail to be just like Julia.
She got dragged for that press release. I feel so bad for her.
Thing. She saw that and she thought that's something Julia would
So
do.
Julia.
Yeah,
but
well,
then
yeah,
it
I
was
texted that to you earlier, Troy, where it's like she was like, everyone was like, hey, like she's reading the comics. Every spider character does that.
famous
It
only a
makes
Julia
me
Carpenter
so mad because like Julia Carpenter, which by the way, that's not her
she's
name.
not even Julia Carpenter.
I know.
Julia Cornwall.
But like Julia Carpenter, like all of the Spider Women have like really, yeah, they have really interesting histories, and I can guarantee these actors went in thinking like, oh man, I get to really dig into this.
Yeah,
I can guarantee like the producer, the minute they stepped on set, to be like, we don't care about that.
You guys have like 2 days in the costume. I mean, like
This is
give it a
Madam
rest.
Web.
I
don't necessarily hate.
Yeah,
Yeah, go for it, Mithi.
I have a question for each of the 4 lead actresses. At what point into filming, do you think they realized it wasn't an MCU movie?
Day one.
I think the second they walked on set, and
Yeah,
then,
like day one.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I don't
They
even
had to.
necessarily think you can be tricked into thinking it's an MCU movie.
Do you think
I
they knew?
like-
Like, did they actually?
I think they-
people thought they
think
didn't know.
their
I
agent.
think that's a
they-
bunch of bullshit.
The
Okay, that's-
MCU is not
okay.
a real thing.
No.
Their agent
Because
said, "Hey,
you could
we
like
have a
literally
superhero
sue
movie."
people for that.
Yeah,
If they did, yeah, that's what
Their
I
agent was probably like, "Hey, here's a movie. You're gonna get paid this much," and they were like, "Cool, we'll
Like,
do it."
Like maybe the initial meeting, like it's like, hey, it's a
Yeah.
Marvel thing, it's a Spider-Man thing.
Yeah,
But like, you know, like they probably got told like, oh, it's probably it's a part of our,
part
highly
of our cinematic
beloved
universe.
Spum
Yeah.
universe.
Spum.
Do you want to be part of our Spum? And they're
Wait, hang on. What is the P?
what?
Spider.
Wait,
No,
what's Spum?
Sony Pictures universe,
Oh.
like universe of Marvel or something.
I thought you were saying Spider People universe of movies.
Spider People universe
I think it
movies.
I think it was Sony Pictures Universe of Marvel Comics or something like that.
Spumka?
Yeah, it was
what-
originally Spunk, but they got rid of. They dropped the C.
Yeah,
Yeah, so now it's just Spunk.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm calling this.
They
Spunk.
Oh my god, there's too much to
Where
talk
the
about with
fuck
this
were we?
movie.
Yeah, what?
I don't even fucking know.
Oh, you were talking about what? Where along the lines did they realize that it wasn't?
They did, I guess. It's not
Yeah.
even
I feel
in
like
the Venom universe, which I thought that was surprising. I thought they were.
Well, that's
just
the
trying
thing.
to find
Everybody's
ways
like,
to
what
fit in.
Spider-Man is this? And allegedly, this movie was supposed to be in the 90s initially. And then Sony came in later and said, no, we're going to shift it up to 2003 to line it up with Tom.
haphazardly, like one
Yeah, which
Beyonce
didn't-
poster and
like,
literally,
Britney Spears
and
is
one
toxic.
What's the-
really in your face date slapped, which honestly I missed. I was too busy looking at Olivia, who's making a joke, and then I looked up and I was like, oh, Blockbuster, it's the 90s. And then she was like, no, it's 2003. It's like, how do you know? And then she was like,
Like,
it just
she's
said
Madam
it.
Web.
she saw it into the
But
future.
I don't necessarily on paper. I don't hate this idea of, oh, they're not superheroes yet. We're not going to do the origin for them yet, and we're just going to keep these three kids alive. That's kind of interesting on paper as a concept. It's very much just the fact that they marketed, hey, look, you get to see them be superheroes. That's what this movie
I
is
don't
about.
even think you
It's
should have
kind of
seen
what they
them
do with
be
Cassie.
superheroes at all.
Yeah,
like,
that's the thing,
don't
like,
dangle
I-
the fruit.
It's kind of what
I
they
think
did with
if
Cassie
it was
and Birds of
baby
Prey.
Peter Parker, I think that would have been better. Like,
Yeah.
It's
which was
I don't know, like
allegedly
I'm
also the other direction. they were
I'm
gonna go.
of the mind that like the same approach worked for Birds of Prey. Like you can use a name, but at the end of the
Yeah.
day, I feel like the story is what sells. The problem with this is that I think Sony really tried to cash in on the Spider-Man brand without having Spider-Man.
Spider
They had real commitment
people?
issues.
Yeah, like that's
Yeah.
the thing. They didn't want to commit to the story, but they also didn't have the brand to lean on. So it's
what
kind of
they-
just this weird mishmash.
But what did they get out of not putting Spider-Man in it? Like, what is it?
I
cheaper
think there's legal. I
somehow?
think there
Comedy
is
gold.
a. I think. Oh, that too. I think the reason we didn't see they didn't name him Peter Parker is I will bet you Tom Holland's script or contract says that he's the only person that can play Peter Parker.
Mm.
Like he's the only, and so even a baby does not count.
So he
That's the
has to
only
be.
reason that could make sense
Otherwise,
to me.
they
Like
have a
why?
whole. Yeah, I'm calling him Peter. or
Wait, we
something.
should talk
Yeah.
about really fast. Why did they get Emma Roberts to play this role? This
I
I don't know.
It
It
was
was
a
so
jump scare.
fucking funny.
It was a
It was
jump
so
scare.
funny.
I'm
I
sorry.
was so scared. I was like, "Why are you here? You're only in Nerve and no other movies." And Little Italy.
And Uncle
You're not
Ben.
allowed
That
We're
is
forgetting
not-
about.
Yeah, oh
we're
my God,
forgetting about
it's
Ben
not
White,
true.
Uncle
Talk
Ben.
about a waste
Yeah.
of Adam Scott. Adam Scott as
Yeah.
Uncle Ben is a genius move, and they
Yeah.
just did nothing with it.
in the
He's
in
so
the
excited
nothing,
to be an uncle. I'm sure that'll go well for him. And then
I
Madam
met
Web is
someone.
like,
She seems really great. We're never gonna talk about it ever
In the-
again. My
the
brother,
nothing-
where is he? He's not here for the birth of his son.
in the
I'm gonna be
nothing-
here
Parker,
instead.
absent father. He's gonna be
Why
an
couldn't
absent
it-
father.
could
for
it
a
not
He's
have
long
just
off
time,
in
been
his
Richard?
secret subway lab or whatever, making lizards or whatever.
Yeah, you
in the
can
nothing of a
use the
script they got to
coins
work
or batteries of a calculator or something to get into it.
And the little bit of
He's-
lore, I like the random. I told Doug earlier, I love the random piece of lore where Uncle Ben, they're already making him an EMT in this. I'm like, that's kind of neat. That's a fun little change, whatever. But then they're also like, yeah, he was in the army too. Like, hang on, why? What is the?
Oh yeah, like he was like, yeah,
he was like, this is the second time I've been shot at. I don't like being yeah. It's
what have you
what
been
the fuck?
shot at?
Uncle Ben.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna tell you now, it's not gonna be the last, dude.
Let me tell you, you've seen Pennyworth, the origin of Batman's butler. Get ready for Ben Parker, the origin of Spider-Man's uncle.
Love the fact that at the end of this movie, when she gets full Madam Webified, she implies that she knows he's gonna get gunned down in his own home, and she smiles. She's laughing at. She thinks it's funny.
I mean, to be fair, that is a very Madam Web thing to do.
That's true. That's fair.
Just like hang out
but just the amount of glee she has at the end of at that NDC where she's like, I see the future.
She like I feel like her personality.
Because how would Peter Parker know?
That kid's gonna have a terrible life.
No, how would Peter Parker know the classic line then if he doesn't die? When you take on the responsibility, great power will come.
I thought I was legitimately expecting her to tell him that to Uncle Ben, and that's where he gets the idea. But he like mishears
he can't remember it, and he's like,
she's something like that. And I love the detail of when Emma Roberts is about to give birth and they're driving and they're like, put on your seatbelts. She's like, no seatbelts, because that's so I'm like, oh, that's how she died in the plane crash then. Yeah. Oh, that's the issue.
Whoa.
We're really being accurate to Mary Parker.
I think it's pretty funny that they pretty much dropped all sense of urgency about her having the birth immediately. like they got like held up in traffic, and then she was like,
"It's okay, I can walk it off."
It's chilling.
It's only
and Dakota
child
Johnson
birth.
didn't seem to give a fuck. She was like, "Just keep going. He's not gonna come after you." He's like, "We're gonna get in this ambulance that I just drove through sign."
Wasn't the rumor for the longest time that like they were going after the baby son?
That's what I was saying. I think
the baby son.
The baby son.
Peter.
The son.
Honestly, I would kind of fuck. That's an insane. That is an insane like pitch. I love it though. I would eat that up.
Because that's the thing. Like I thought for the longest time they were folding Moreland's character over into Ezekiel, which would be a really cool
like
twist.
What they were trying to do a little bit. Yeah.
Which would I mean? Let's be real. There was a lot of reshoots and a lot of ADR. Every line from the villain of exposition was re-recorded. It is entirely likely that's exactly what happened.
Ezekiel in the comics is like kind of a good guy, right? Like I remember reading those JMS comics.
He's ambiguous.
He's
not like a good guy, but he's like he helped Spider-Man kind of, and he tells him this totem stuff.
Yeah.
And then he dies.
He does some shit.
Or something. And
I remember he did. Yeah. So it was definitely a choice, you know. But actually in the comics, when Ezekiel's mouth moves, words don't come out, and then he only talks when his mouth is closed. He just goes like, so they were accurate.
The top bubbles are on different panels where he's not.
The top bubbles are taped in. You can tell that they've been like.
My favorite Ezekiel detail, besides his voice and his ADR, of course, is the fact that he's always barefoot. Like that motherfucker was walking around in puddles. He was walking around on the subway. He didn't give a shit.
He was walking around on the streets of New York without anything.
On the subway ceiling too.
Yeah. I do like every time they cut away.
Fun. Yeah.
Every time they cut away from him, like it looks like he's about to swing, but then they realize that he can't.
He doesn't have webs.
He just goes like, they're like, and they cut away.
Even good old Julia, her webs were
putting it in.
Her webs were like Doctor Strange magic in that flash forward.
Yeah. Wait, can we talk about this detail about the flash forwards? Is that I think that like they clearly the direction obviously wasn't incredible.
Hey, it's S.J. Clarkson. She did like one of the best episodes of Succession, so I don't blame her.
That means nothing to me. I didn't watch it.
I know.
So it didn't happen. No, I'm sure she's fine. I'm just saying that the direction in the movie wasn't great, like from scene to scene. And I think that they weren't given a lot of context behind what was going on, probably because there was a lot of script changes and studio whatever going on. But like the girls in all their scenes were like overacting the shit out of it in like a really aggressive like every time the camera would like zoom in on their face, they'd be like like they'd just be like making like the wildest face you've ever seen, or like screaming like they're fighting like Doc Ock, but it was like some like random guy. They're like, ah, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna kill this guy. Like these girls are killers. I can see why
They
he's
never
mad.
talk about like the
Maybe
morale.
Ezekiel's right.
Like also,
Next
yeah.
YouTube
Wait,
video
did
is
they just
Ezekiel
go?
was
Was
right
it
all
to just
along?
steal his spider? Is that what it was about? Like, what did they? Why did they go kill? It was a dream,
never
so we don't
talk about
know.
But like it's
Yeah,
just
like
gonna happen.
is it a vision or was it a dream, Ezekiel? Like you
But
could
Ezekiel's
just have a weird
gaslighting himself.
But he's had the same dream every night for 10 years. His appointment with death draws closer.
So, but then herein lies like
Mithi, can I just say,
What?
this is just going to be between you and me because we're
Yeah.
the only ones
Except
that
for the
get this.
podcast.
On the podcast.
Yeah.
SJ,
Hey, let's have some private conversation.
Yeah, okay, all right. I'm gonna turn off my
Mithi,
camera.
Mithi,
My
Mithi,
social
take this
security
Yeah,
number.
I know.
We're the only Succession watchers in this group. How
Succession
funny
head.
would it be if SJ Clarkson used their connections to get Jeremy Strong to be Ezekiel?
That would have
I-
worked.
Weirdly,
would've
I do think
worked.
he's got the vibe for it. He's this
That's what he's
creepy
going
little man.
I can see it. He would have worked because he would have just been like, I dream like every night. Like it's just I can't do it. I need to kill these girls.
Listen,
Like,
we got to leapfrog fate. We got to kill these girls.
holy frog faith.
He takes
Good
off his
bit.
shoes. I got to leapfrog these buildings.
And then he just jumps across the building. Anyways,
We got any, I got a list of quotes if we want to go through that, or
Yeah,
we
let's
wanna-
do it.
if there's any
That'd
other
be good.
bits.
Let's
There's a
call it
lot of great
Let's
lines
do
in
our
this
best
movie.
impersonations.
yeah.
Oh, I can't do that. I could never
Every day,
replace
my
Dakota.
appointment with death draws closer.
That's good. Dude, that's good.
That's pretty good.
I really like the line, "Hope the spiders were worth it, Mom." And then I like, it's not a dream. I'm going to be murdered one day. And I like Brian, you were saying it earlier. Why did he have to have sex with that woman? That was honestly
literally
very. That's
he
the
was
most
like,
evil
you know,
thing he did in the movie.
I'm gonna rock her world and then I'm gonna poison her.
Like that's
How
Then I'm
funny
gonna rock
would
her
it
world
be? How funny would it be if she's like, "Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that great."
Yeah, no. Honestly,
I do think Spider-Man horror movie is an interesting, and it's like I will bet way back in the everybody's like, how could this movie get made? I bet way back in the early stages of this, there was something kind of cool here of like
I think that they
horror
did
movie with
pitch it-
Spider-Man. Like
no, I
that
think they
sounds
did
neat.
pitch it like that. I think that was like the intention was like she is like it was, the setup was all the same, but like it was just very focused in on she's protecting these three girls. Evil Spider-Man hunts them down
Yeah,
and will kill them.
and
And it
that's
was
cool.
like supposed to be a lot like leaner and meaner, and it just got like turned into something.
It became superhero action thing
yeah.
that
like
also
it was
tried
supposed to.
yeah.
It was like supposed to be. Did you ever read that script where like I think they were thinking about making it, but for the Beast movie back when X-Men was with Fox, it was
they're doing that.
When
it was like
this?
this
Like the
really-
90s or-
no.
Early
This was
2000s.
this was like 2017, 2018.
Oh,
It was this guy. I can't remember his name, but
with like
you
Nicholas,
could
like
read
Nicholas
it
Hoult?
online. Yeah, it was Nicholas Holt's Beast.
Yeah.
And no, you can read online. It's fantastic. It's really good. It's like sets him in Alaska, and he's being hunted by the Wendigo, or like he's trying to investigate murders surrounding the Wendigo, and like, or yeah, I think it's Wendigo. I don't quote me on that, but like it's this sort of like snowy, like murder mystery type beat, and he's like reconciling with being Beast, and like all this sort of things are going on. It's a very lean, mean movie, and I think that's like the same type of vein that this was trying to be, and it just got bloated, and like it got torn in all these different ways. And if it was allowed to just be evil Spider-Man hunts down these girls who have a destiny greater than what we see them as now.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, that would have probably been what happened to a Beast movie if it actually got
Yeah,
made.
no, yeah.
Yeah, it's because I think nowadays those types of like leaner, smaller movies they don't go to theaters anymore. They go to streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
big
it's like a
superhero
Prey
shit has to go to
situation.
theaters. Yeah, no, literally. Prey, Prey should have been in theaters, but I think if Prey
Yeah.
was released in theaters, there would have been studio meddling to totally fuck it over.
Yeah.
So really,
Like,
this
it's-
should have been a Crackle exclusive. That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
like
Entirely
Fubo
on
exclusive.
Freebie.
Tubi.
Honestly,
On Freebie,
Tubi, Madam
Tubi.
Web is a Tubi movie.
It's on Freebie, Tubi, and Quibi if you can find it.
Quibi. It's a YouTube
Right next to
Red movie.
Lamageddon.
It's 100 different clips of her going, I do not know.
I don't have a neuromuscular disorder.
I like the thing. I think that's the best line of the movie. But I don't have a neuromuscular disorder.
Oh, I disagree. I think so
Yeah,
sad
but-
about Martha Stewart is my favorite line of the movie.
yeah.
Because like I know what they're referencing,
Yeah.
but they don't clarify at
So,
all.
do you remember in our theater,
We're getting
like,
arrested?
no one else laughed?
Okay.
Like,
Yeah,
I
I was,
was like, how
I'm
the
assuming
fuck
when she
did
went to jail.
Yeah,
Well, it's because we give a moment of silence for Martha Stewart.
yeah,
This
really.
isn't a
Yeah.
joke.
Pour one out, Martin, for Martha. Not.
I'm
Bruce
gonna light
Wayne.
one up.
Pull one out, light one up.
Yeah, I was gonna
exactly.
say. Light one up
Yeah.
for Martha.
I think that this movie, like when I walked out of it, and Doug tweeted about it and made a big joke about it, but I mean it. I walked out of this movie so. I love Oppenheimer, and I'm unashamed to say that I love that movie. I like. There's something about it. Like it should not be nearly as good as it is, but it's great, and I rewatch it often, just because it gives me a sense of joy.
You rewatched it before seeing Madam Web. I saw
Yeah,
that
I
you
literally
watched.
watched it the night before, and I was gleeful. I was like a happy little boy. I was like, woo! I walked out of Madam Web the same feeling, and that's crazy.
Did you
I
enjoy
agree.
Madam
Like one of the best movies of the century.
Madam Web
and then there's
is better than Oppenheimer.
There you
Yeah.
have it, everybody. Two equally impactful pillars of cinema.
Yeah, where
I
is
don't
Madam
Madam
Web's
Web.
I
Oppenheimer?
was listen. I was in the same room as Christopher Nolan a few weeks ago. If I meet him again, I'll tell him he said that.
Could you imagine if he actually liked this movie?
I don't know. I don't.
Brian
Yeah,
was,
that might be a stretch.
I was gonna.
Madam Web is a triumph of a film.
The filmmakers tried their best.
Brian
I was gonna fucking
is
say it.
Brian is Oppenheimer or not Oppenheimer? Is Tenet a better thrill ride than Madam Web, or is Madam Web a better thrill ride?
That's not fair to compare. Come on.
Yeah, I also love Tenet. Like
You do.
whatever.
I'm asking as a
I-
Tenet lover.
It's
I
like
love-
apples and really, really weird oranges.
It's like apples and really rotten fruit.
I think the only way that
It's
Madam
so
Web
rotten
could
you
be
can't
better.
tell what fruit it is.
Yeah,
If
I
it's a
don't
rotten
even know
apples
what it
back around
is.
to
It may
being
not even be
fried
fruit.
again.
It might be an animal.
The only way they could have improved upon Madam Web and making it better than Oppenheimer is if the final line of the movie was until somebody builds a bigger spider.
And then we see the spider that's gonna bite.
Until
Peter.
someone genetically modifies a better spider.
When Peter was born, when baby Peter is not named Peter, but when he was born, did they pull up to show a spider in the corner? Because they pulled up
I
to
think so.
Oh yeah, that was so
That was-
weird. What did they
Okay.
do? I think it was
Because they just got
a
blurry.
hospital curtain. No, I
Like,
think it was a hospital curtain. There was mesh up the top, and I think it was
They
supposed
were trying to
to
say
be
that's a
haha,
web.
it's foreshadowing a web, the way that it looks.
But it didn't look
And they
like a
just
web.
didn't
It just
commit.
looked like a weird
Yeah,
honeycomb
I don't think
pattern.
they committed to
Yeah.
anything. They were.
Nothing.
I think maybe the CG artist just forgot to put something in there.
Put a
They were like,
spider,
"Oh
yeah.
fuck, sorry guys."
Spider on
Because
there.
that would at
See,
least
that's-
okay, that's something. It's all right, what that's kind of
That's another case
sweet,
that I
guess.
really hope they don't fix.
Maybe they
this
took
for
it
a
out.
re-release. That would be
Oh, that's
so
what
funny.
yeah, I am
Because they-
terrified.
There.
I'm
Yeah.
terrified they're gonna go in and fix all
Fix
the
his
ADR, fix all the CG,
better
and
not.
pull
Oh
a
wait,
Spider
dude.
Verse.
So the sound mix. Every time there's a needle drop in this movie, it is so low. I thought someone's phone was going off in the theater. I was like, who's playing music? And I was like, oh, this is the movie. And it's a big action scene. When
He's
they
playing
the first-
Toxic.
Yeah.
No,
you
the-
have a
yeah, no, the
toxic
first-
ringtone? Are you a Doctor
No,
Who
the-
fan?
the first time adult Dakota Johnson, when they're speeding in the ambulance, there's there's a track going and it's supposed to be very
They cut
lively,
in
very
and out, right?
no, it's not even cutting. No, that's that might be because of other reasons, but no, but like the song is so low that there's no driving force.
I don't even remember. I don't remember a song in the opening. I remember there being a guitar and that's it. Maybe it was just a generic song, but yeah.
Also, I knew it was going in and out during Toxic, and it like really distracted me the entire time. It would have been better if that just played.
It was going in and out during Toxic. I do remember that because they were cutting, because with that they were cutting like to other scenes. It's still it was going from it's the sound playing in the diner to it's on the radio. But because they were trying to say they're timing her, she's using the radio to time when to slam Ezekiel with a car.
She shows up in the
diner. She does twice in the movie.
No. Because she shows up in the diner, right? Tells them to get off the table, and then they turn around and Ezekiel is there.
Madam Web's signature. She's in a fighting game and she pulls out a car. That was Batman's like super move.
Style, like finisher move. And different skins are just different cars.
I'm sorry.
Choose your fighter, ambulance or taxi.
She's thinking of yeah. No, but she shows up in the diner and she gets them off the table, and then she has the whole vision, and then she's like, "Okay, let's do that again." And then so instead of walking to the diner, she decides to get in the car and drive there, but she ends up getting there later than she.
This is what I was saying. This is what I think is so funny.
Way to the diner, right?
She in her vision, because the vision starts from when she's in the fucking New Jersey Pine Barrens, Nakey Jakey reference, and she gets the vision and slowly walks to the diner. The thing that they said took them a long time shows up. She's like, "Get off that table!" And then Ezekiel comes in and fucking wrecks the kids. And
wait,
then
can I say something?
Yeah.
Right after. No, finish your thought.
But then she's like, let's stop this. And then shows up later. I guess she just like dicked around for a bit and waited, but then she was driving real fast.
She was driving really fast behind the truck. She gets there like 2 minutes later than she would have if she just walked, I guess.
Also, was that a really slow driver.
Was that truck that truck felt like a Final Destination reference.
I thought that truck was Ezekiel. I thought like he was gonna come out of the truck.
He was in the truck. He left his Corvette behind and he was
and he just jumped in the lumber truck.
He's got a part-time job as a friggin' logger.
What were you gonna say there, Brian?
I will not let them destroy what I built. I have a huge corner of the lumber industry. That's how I put this tree in the center of my apartment for my spider to.
That's where I get all my spiders from the trees.
From the trees.
My trees.
It reminds me of the spider people that once chased me.
What was your?
I cut down all the trees so they won't get to me.
No, but like the one thing about the diner scene is that like that scene, like when he's like going through and killing everybody, I have to admit it was kind of cool, and Toxic works.
Yeah,
it does work.
There are legitimately cool moments in that movie. Like I keep telling Brian and I told Troy, there's one shot that's like this great mirror reflection shot where like we see the New York skyline, and just Ezekiel leaps into frame and just breaks the glass and then runs across.
It felt like they wanted to make a Spider-Man swing sequence. Like they were like, Spider-Man's cool, let's do cool stuff with Spider-Man, but then they're like, wait, shit, he's not Spider-Man and he's evil.
That's the thing though. I still think it works because it's like, even though the cinematography in this film was like way too kinetic, I think it works in those scenes.
There's a thing that I like to call like, I don't know if this is the official term, like the rubber band cinematography, where the camera is always pushing in and then back out and in and back out and like rolling. I mean,
to be fair, that was only in the opening scene.
That was in the, but they also did it a little bit in the paramedic scene, and they did a little bit in the.
Oh, that's true. You're right.
Where those were like the two, but then they did none of it in the last act.
The Man of Steel
sucks because it's a lot of weird wides and medium shots.
Yeah.
But then like the two dynamic action sequences were the Looney Tunes death scene and then the Toxic Diner scene. And I was like,
the Toxic gossip train.
I think a zoom would just make that death scene even funnier.
the zoom?
They just zoom in on it like The Office.
I will say the Office style of zoom in the beginning was fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Good. Yeah,
like why
and they do it at the end
it?
too. Do it at the end where she's like, "I'm Madam Web" or whatever the fuck she says at the end.
Someone builds a bigger spider.
Yeah. It's just...
I really liked the zooming. I didn't catch too much, but I loved the digital out defocus transitions they tried to do that were clearly not done in camera, and they were done.
They got
like
everything
just by
yeah.
They just put a blur on the transition, because there's a shot where they do that into a shot of Dakota Johnson walking on a street, and there is there's no blur in that background whatsoever with her walking, and it's like, oh, you did this in post.
I think every single lens bokeh is just digitally added in.
It's literally just a digital blur. It's exactly
fast blocks blur.
I know all about that game.
I just the amount of vehicles she steals without consequence.
She parks them everywhere.
She steals one taxi and she gets so much mileage out of that goddamn taxi.
Because she takes the license plate off. Nobody pulls off a cab with no license plates.
Yeah, that's true. And definitely not with the smashed front.
There's nothing out of place about an unmarked vehicle with no license plates.
Dakota Johnson,
she was on
especially not in post 9/11 New York.
I was really surprised. She makes that call in a stolen ambulance for a helicopter, like at that weird factory, and no one asks anything. She steals the ambulance from the place. She parks it under a bridge. They're just talking for a bit. And then she calls for an ambulance
for her. Wasn't the ambulance the one that they called?
No, it's the ambulance for the Emma
I think
Roberts.
You're right.
And how did they get there?
Well, she called in a code. She didn't like say this is the ambulance.
But like they also didn't put any scrutiny towards like the fact that she was like go to like the fireworks factory, which is like a crazy set piece.
Yeah.
But like there was no like what's going on. She was just like go there.
I like how the fireworks scene, that whole set piece, the majority of the danger in that set piece is from themselves. It's from the fireworks that they lit. Ezekiel's just kind of there, and most of it is, oh god, there's a firework coming at me. I gotta get out of the way.
Like, and here's something that I'm gonna say about that though. And I think it highlights a crucial error in Ezekiel, other than the fact that his like voice is like 10 frames behind. Is they are able, and I know that she can see the future and yada 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 whatever, but like he is like behind them at every point. There's no point where he's like out in front of them. She's like, it's like you could put like I forget what the track is called, but the
Benny Hill.
Benny Hill.
Yeah, the Benny Hill. Like you could put that behind him at any point whenever he's like actually getting to them, because there's like the diner scene I think is like him being threatening. I'm like, okay, makes a lot of sense. Even the subway scene, I'm like, this sucks. But like in the fireworks warehouse, which like he's just getting hit by fireworks. Like he has no forethought for anything that's going around him.
He doesn't need forethought because he should have a spider sense.
Yeah,
I don't think. I don't think that. I think the way that they not to defend the movie.
Oh, okay.
Actually, they're like, oh, you get bitten by the magic spider, which I think is very funny that this magical spider exists in the world that gives you the exact same power as a Spider-Man, and he didn't have to get like a radioactive one to bite him. And it's just like they're out there, like they're rare, but like they're normal. They say it's like you could either get Spider-Man super strength and super speed, or you get like visions of the future, not necessarily spider sense.
Okay.
And that's why his dreams he believes are visions, because it's like sort of he doesn't. They make it very clear he's not Spider-Man. He's kind of Spider-Man.
So I guess they do give an explanation for why the radiation is important, because it gives Peter both somehow. A radioactive regular spider.
I also don't get the Madam Web power of being in more places than one.
I don't think that's
famously Madam Web. Famously, she can clone herself.
Okay.
That's the one.
Famously,
I thought there was gonna be like at least like a cool sequence where she was like, I was expecting at least like a sequence where it's like, oh, she sees everything happening and sort of sets stuff up in a domino effect.
Yeah,
but no, she just triples. It just does 3 things at once.
You know what's funny? This is literally just knowing. Madam Web is just an early 2000s Nicolas Cage movie where he has the exact same powers. He literally duplicates himself in the third act of the movie.
We need to check the screenwriters.
I'm gonna put money on that. That has to there has to be a link somewhere.
Also, in the end of the movie, she feels like a completely different character. I don't know how. She's still pretty flat and plain, and she doesn't do anything.
She turns from Dakota Johnson like doing like a petty joke, and then she becomes Dakota Johnson after doing a joke that nobody got the joke. And thinks she's like, and knows she's smarter and better than everyone. You know, when she told the lie about the limes in that interview, like that's how she acted after. She's like, I met him Web.
I know Uncle Ben's gonna die.
And it's so funny.
She was just writing off the happiness of
anyway, to me, my Spider Women.
That's so messed up. She sent her best friend to die, and she's laughing about it.
Because his death made his Spider-Man, though. So
that's true. That's true.
Canon event.
As long as that little kid gets to suffer.
As long as Tom Holland gets to suffer. If this is Tom Holland Spider-Man, that is...
Mr. Foggy, can I be a Madam Web, please? No, Tom.
I do think that...
Dakota Johnson's being really awkward around set. Zendaya doesn't like her very much.
I do think that Marissa Tomei and Adam Scott as Uncle Ben. I think that's a neat cut. That would be fun. I would like to see it come back.
That would be super.
Is that
fun.
why they didn't?
I would like
May?
to see. Yeah.
I was like,
must have been. But okay, if Marissa Tomei was the May that he was talking about, he was just like, yeah, I met someone. She's pretty cool. Like. You met Marissa Tomei, dude. Fucking
dude, I'd be like,
good.
Look at my girlfriend. Look at my girlfriend.
You're fully just George Costanza in that one side.
Literally.
I mean, it's just oh god.
And here's where we find out Uncle Ben's been having an affair this whole time.
It would be funny if it wasn't May. He just mentioned that for no reason.
He's been having an affair with Marissa Tomei with May Parker.
Marissa Tomei Parker.
Or they're two different people.
Yeah.
He's been having an affair with Toby's Aunt May, Rosemary.
Rosemary Harris.
Rosemary Harris.
And Sally Field is just there like, what's going on? Why am I here? I don't want this paycheck. You can keep it, Sally.
Where are my spiders? I keep thinking about that. I also, it's not in the list of, but my favorite line that I couldn't stop thinking about when I first watched it was Ezekiel is like, the girls have powers in the future. And Dakota Johnson's like, powers in the future? The girls? it's like a Kronk, like Cusco's poison type thing. I love it. I love this movie. It's genuinely is a good viewing experience because of how funny it is.
You need to go see it in theaters.
I really do. I really think because at the very least in the 5 to 10 years it'll take for this to become like a cult classic, with it being played at midnight screenings with spoons and shit like The Room. Like people are going to start quoting it, and you're gonna say, "Oh man, I wish I saw this in theaters. I wish I was there."
Viewers, if we start a Kickstarter to fly Troy and Mithi out to New York,
we'll go to a fucking Alamo draft
Kickstarter for what, like $600
on repeat.
It can happen.
That's such a low like requirement for a Kickstarter.
Listen,
which is why it might happen.
Yeah, that's true.
And we'll
other
go.
Things related to Spider-Man have gotten much more money on Kickstarter than
listen. Kickstarter for $600 plus tickets to see Madam Web, and there we go. Then we'll make a whole thing.
We'll make it a whole thing. We'll go rent out a screen at the Angelica down the street.
Yeah,
that would rule.
It would be a whole experience.
Watch Madam Web again.
If we did a live MST3K of Madam Web, that would actually make my whole year, honestly.
I like that Dune is coming out in like 9 days, and everyone's just gonna be talking about Madam Web still, right?
That's the only one that matters.
The thing is that I famously I don't do like the first watches as well in like my 2024 ranking. Like it's on Letterboxd. It's purely just 2024 movies, and currently like
only
Madam Web is the only movie that I've seen this year. So it currently holds the number one spot.
Really, the movie of the year
of 2024. And the next movie that I'm probably gonna go see is Dune 2. So I'm interested to see what happens.
I'm just picturing Brian
I have
theater.
seen movies this year. I have seen Mean Girls and Lisa Frankenstein. And Lisa Frankenstein was really good, and I recommend everybody go see Lisa Frankenstein.
Okay.
But Madam Web clears them all, dude.
I'm sorry,
Oh
are
my
you
God.
putting Madam Web at the top? Like, unironically.
Madam Web, genuine Mithi,
top?
when we do that 2024 list next year, it is entirely likely Madam Web will be on it.
I'm going back to the vision of Brian in the theater, and I'm just worried that Madam Web has ruined you to the point where whenever Paul has another vision, you're just like, this is just Madam Web.
It's just so Madam Web. At least Madam Web knows what's going to happen. Paul Atreides keeps on going, the visions aren't clear. I never know what's going to happen. Shut up. Madam Web could figure it out, bro.
It's that joke
Shut up,
where
Timothy Chalamet, you little
power
Victorian
scaling
child.
Madam Web versus Timothy Chalamet.
It's that joke where somebody's just like, I'm getting real Boss Baby vibes from
Yeah, I'm only seeing Boss Baby. Yeah.
Zendaya's
That
over
is
there
gonna be me,
like, I know someone who also knows the future.
And the best, I don't know about you, Paul, but the best part about the future hasn't happened yet.
Hasn't happened.
That's the theme of the movie, baby. The future hasn't happened.
That's where they end Dune 2.
They took my spice.
Where's my
spice? I want my spice.
Where is my spice?
Austin Butler's audio is on top of being black and white. All of his ADR, it doesn't match.
They took the black and white audio. They put in the colors,
and that's because when he was on set, he couldn't stop doing the Elvis voice. He's like, "Mama, Mama, I'm on Spice Planet, Mama."
chicken shatter.
I feel like I could talk about this movie.
I feel like they missed a golden opportunity to have Natasha Bedingfield's Unwritten as the ending song for this movie. Do you know what I mean?
Well, when did that song come out?
Ooh, good. Let me see.
Was it
actually?
Does it matter?
Yes. 2004. November 2004.
1 year later.
1 year.
If they only said in 2004.
If only.
That's the best part.
Well, if Madam Web would have been able to see into the future to win Natasha Bedingfield.
Yeah, Brian, don't you realize the best part about this hit single is that it hasn't happened yet?
She pulls a BioShock Infinite, and Madam Web now makes her money by releasing music that hasn't come out yet.
What's the
she pulls a reverse Biff Tannen in the Back to the Future Part 2.
What's the Transformers What I've Done song? I would have worked here.
What I've done.
Park?
Is that what it's called? Okay. I don't listen to Linkin Park. Okay.
That also hadn't come out yet. We're merging all the early 2000s songs.
It'd just be toxic again.
What's the Transformers What I've Done?
I don't know. Good child, okay.
What's that song where Britney Spears says how she's toxic?
Something toxic.
Yeah, I really like how they use that one song about being toxic. What was that song?
It's toxic like a spider.
No, like when he touches them.
Or that one song where he says something's in the way.
Oh, for the movie that you didn't love.
The one that I thought was unique.
Bringing that back, baby.
Hey, I watched it again.
Full circle moment.
We also talked about the Bat Pizza recently, so we are bringing everything full circle.
I miss it. I miss it so goddamn much.
I think I still have the card.
I saw that on my. No, you don't. Get rid of it right now. I don't care how nostalgic.
Oh my god.
Get rid of it. That's so gross.
It's where he keeps all his spiders.
It is.
No one's been able to take my spiders because I hidden them in my calzone box.
Why did he need more than one spider? He already got bit. Why did he have them still?
It was his prized possession. He couldn't let anyone else get bit.
His whole thing was like, "Oh, my life was so hard. I need this spider." You could just get bit by the spider.
He's already a billionaire.
Is he a billionaire, or was he just
He's rich?
Well, he's a bad person, so he's a billionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Fair
true.
enough.
That's true. That's also
He's
very
so rich he doesn't even wear shoes.
No, he doesn't need.
He's one of
Well,
those.
he's like that TikTok trend.
Yeah.
Where they're like trying to get all the nutrients from the
God.
ground or something.
Oh.
Wear shoes, everybody. Wear
Yeah.
shoes. It's not-
Moral of the story
Take
is
vitamins.
the future hasn't
Especially if-
happened yet, and wear shoes.
The future is still unwritten.
Especially if you're in New York, wear really thick insulating
Oh, yeah.
shoes.
Yeah,
Oh,
wear
boy.
boots.
Yeah.
But all right, I could talk about this movie forever,
Yeah,
and maybe
You will.
maybe when we get a Blu-ray release, maybe we'll do something fun there.
You
But
will continue to bring up Madam Web on the podcast.
I will bring up Madam Web every day if I have to.
Madam Web Wednesdays.
Where are the
Madam
Madam
Web-
Web nights?
Madam
that.
Webens.
Madam Web.
Write that down. I'm writing that
Wednesdays.
Where are
It's
the where are the
Madam Webensdays.
Do you remember
Where
how
are
I watched Spider-Verse like 20 times last year?
Yeah.
This is gonna be
Madam
your
Web's gonna be the
Spider-Verse.
same. You're
Don't
gonna look
say
at my letterbox next week, and it's gonna say Madam Web 5, Madam Web 5, Madam Web 5, Madam Web 4.5, Madam Web 5, Madam Web 5. one viewing, I was like, oh, I wasn't feeling it, but then I got it back.
Every
We were
time you
slightly
join the
sadder that day.
Discord,
This man saw
Troy's gonna be
this man saw
streaming
Madam Web
something.
150 times.
Mithi, every time you join the Discord, Troy's gonna be streaming something. You're gonna hop in. It's gonna be Madam Web.
It's always nonstop,
You're gonna
24/7.
get me
It's
with,
always
like,
gonna
you
be
know-
playing in the background right
You know
there.
how you did that with Catwoman, where you showed the Batman Begins credits and then you played
That's
Catwoman?
my favorite
You're
joke
gonna
we've
do
ever
that?
done.
I know.
That is genuinely the best joke we've ever
gonna do
made.
that with Madam Web
and
at
nobody's
some
seen it
point,
because I
I
never
know.
released that video.
No. You're gonna do that with Madam Web at some point, and I'm gonna lose my shit.
Yeah.
I'm never coming back after that. I'm gone.
Underrated
Um,
masterpiece.
But
Sam Raimi's Madam
thank
Web.
you all for joining us on this episode of Fanboy. Unless if we have other final takes we want to have on Madam Web. We're at 90 minutes, baby. Perfect podcast length.
Oh boy.
Just see it in a theater. Fine.
Yeah.
Do that.
Go see
the only
it.
thing I have to
You're
say
gonna
is
regret it.
that, you know, when
I'll
you
do
take on the
that.
responsibility, great power will come.
That's true, and I will take on that responsibility.
It will come.
The only thing
Or
I gotta
no,
say
it
is
will.
my
Or
spiders.
I will. To quote Madam Web's fortune cookie. I will.
I will.
Oh, that's right.
Wait, yeah, they
Fortune
never,
cookie.
they never released the fortune cookie.
I will.
Oh my god, I love this movie so much. I
Right.
love it to death. But thank you all for watching this or listening to this episode of Fanboy Talk. If you enjoyed this, rate it, like it if you're on YouTube, all that podcast shit. If you want to find Doug, you can find him on his channel For Every Kind of Geek, where he makes monthly, right? Yeah, you
Monthly,
go
yeah.
monthly, monthly video essays about all kinds of things like comics and TV shows, and they're super fucking good. They're so good. Mithi, you've got Young Justice video coming out.
That's definitely something.
Any day now.
And you can
Actually,
also
I'm
find
working
Brian
on
on
something
Brian
that's
McDermott
supposed to
YouTube,
be.
and he also does video essays. Maybe not as
Haven't
frequently,
done
but
one in
they're
a long
still
time.
that's good. But they're
But
still
they're
very
good.
good.
Watch his Batman
Yeah.
video essay. It's
It,
fun.
it might be coming back. Who knows?
And also, he's just cool. He's just a fun little guy.
Look at him.
Well,
Not
yeah,
little.
look-
You're tall.
Look at the
Dude,
guy.
I'm a little guy. You saw me in person, and you. I am the smallest person here, but no one will ever know.
Hey,
Quick,
I-
everybody
I
do the
thought-
Northman pose over
I
Troy.
thought you were a big guy. I walked up and I was like, "Hey, big guy." It was
You
like
literally
it was
bent
like Tiger Woods.
over.
I was like, "Big
You
dog."
literally bent down like I was a 6-year-old. Don't hide it. But
No.
thanks
big dog.
everybody for coming, and see you not next week.
We're
I'm
doing
so tired.
something.
Eventually, I got an Avatar video coming out this week, so get ready for that.
We're gonna
but,
watch the show and tear into it. It's gonna be
Oh
so
my god,
fun.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's the thing. All right, thank you everybody. See you around.